the same opportunity, the same cooperation, well, you'll also have the responsibility to be open to them.
The Vice President and Minister for Women's Affairs, who presided over the ceremony, reiterated the need for cabinet members to be disciplined, diligent and sincere in the execution of their duties, for President Jammeh is a leader who is always supportive.
But most of all, seek guidance from His Excellency the President. His doors are always open, and the Office of the President. Because he has plans. For each of us here, he has plans, he has programs that he wants to see us achieve in consultation with the Gambian people. As I always say, on these occasions, we are not elected by the Gambian people directly, all of us here. But His Excellency the President has the mandate from the Gambian people. And therefore, we are supposed to help him attain the objectives of that mandate. It's because of what he had delivered in the past that they keep on re-electing him to this position. And therefore, we have a role to ensure that that mandate is realized at all times. The expectations of the Gambian people, I can tell, is very high. Because people have been used to seeing results, and they want more. Human beings like that, we are all like Oliver Twist. We all ask for more. The more we have, the more we ask for. And that is development. It's a major challenge. But these two sectors are very critical and of concern to His Excellency. We all know.
President Jammeh, according to cabinet ministers, attaches great importance to all ministries, but these two are close to his heart, so they therefore pledge their on alert support to their newly appointed colleagues. They have a mammoth task ahead of them, but with President Jammeh at the helm of affairs, they were optimistic that with obedience, honesty and dedication, they will deliver as expected. For Grts News, I am Estumane. That report takes us to our first break. When we come back, we take a look at news from outside the Gambia. Stay tuned.
RLG, Ghana's leading ICT company, assemblers of mobile phones and computers, is now in the Gambia too. We are happy to bring our services to the people of Gambia and look forward to lasting relationship with the state and its people. Come choose from RLG's range of phones and computers and enjoy delightful after-sale service and the confidence of warranties that will keep your devices good as new. Visit RLG at 62 Caraba Avenue, Circular KSMD, opposite the Pipeline Mass, or check out rlggambia.com for more information.
RLG, proudly yours.
Former Egyptian President Hosni Mubarak has been released from prison and put under house arrest. Mubarak is facing retrial on charges of inciting violence against protesters, but the court has ordered him freed as he has been held past the time one could be detained before being convicted. CNN's Ivan Watson gives us the details.
Astounding in terms of the timing. As you explained, it really is a technicality. The last of the corruption charges against him were addressed by a court yesterday, and they agreed really with his lawyer's argument that he paid the money back he was accused of stealing and had been in jail, as you say, longer than the 2 years, which is permissible under Egyptian law unless you've been convicted of a crime. The timing, as I say, is astounding, simply because of the volatile climate here, to release this enormously divisive figure who many Egyptians lost their lives deposing in 2011 out of the prison I'm standing in front of, Tora prison, where he's languished for some time out into what's either going to be a military hospital or some suggesting on state media a form of house arrest, more auspicious conditions. Now let me explain to you what we've been seeing here for the last hour. A remarkable scene, in fact. A group of men turned up with a long flag as a banner, an Egyptian banner, reeled out and held it up across the bank of cameras amassed outside the jail. And then one of us noticed in the sky, in fact, we don't know where it originated from, but a helicopter had just passed away. We have no idea who was on that at all, but certainly at some point today, many believe he will be transported from the jail by military helicopter, they say. Moments after that, another military helicopter passed overhead and circled. That's a fairly well-known Egyptian military tactic for signalling their presence somewhere. But people are really looking to see quite what the reaction on the streets would be when this release takes place, if it hasn't already. And really what's profound about this is the lack of protest. We have seen 2 or 3 people turn up here holding placards, pictures of Hosni Mubarak, one woman showering a crowd with sweets in celebration with candy. I think really people are amazed in Egypt, and the observers are amazed to see that this figure is being released by a military who are claiming to uphold the democratic credentials of the country, but clearly at this moment have decided they would rather look after one of their own, but also believe they have adequate control on the politics of this country, and with their military installing a curfew on the streets, that they could hold back any protests were that to be on the streets as a result of this release, Christy.
A bookkeeper at an elementary school in Georgia is being hailed as a hero after convincing a gunman to give up his weapon and surrender himself to the police. The lady boldly aided in preventing a crime that would have been a heartbreaking scenario to the United States. Well, that report will come later in the news. And before we end this edition of the news, a reminder of our headlines. President Jammeh has relieved Momodou Aki-Bayo of his cabinet appointment and put in his stead Momodou Eskoli. The Vice President and Minister of Women's Affairs, Dr. Estunjai Seidi, has called on cabinet ministers to be sincere and diligent in the execution of their duties during the swearing-in ceremony of 2 new cabinet ministers this afternoon. Former Egyptian leader Hosni Mubarak leaves prison but remains in house arrest after being adjudged to have overstayed behind bars without being convicted for the raft of charges brought against him. And a bookkeeper in an elementary school in the U.S. state of Georgia has averted a potentially deadly scene by coaxing a gunman to give up his weapon and surrender himself to the police. That's all in this edition of the news. Thank you very much for your time. Join us at 10 for another bulletin. Meanwhile, enjoy our programs.
itodima sin fo bacci yalla na officiel ye kule bonni mento mo kula credit fo mo kubudole to ha isi credit o don tono officiel bulla adi te fenjola officiel ala barka o ko kende bala
AfriCell Cholera Credit. Now, you can borrow up to $50 with the AfriCell Cholera Credit. If you have been using the same AfriCell number for a period of 1 year or more, you become eligible to borrow Cholera Credit for every AfriCell loyal year and for no extra cost. To activate your Cholera Credit and know how much credit you can borrow, simply send a blank SMS to 152. You ran out of credit? Worry no more. With the AfriCell Cholera Credit, you can make calls even when you don't have any butut in your account. And the next time you recharge your line, you will return your Cholera Credit with no extra cost. Keep using the same AfriCell number and your Cholera Credit will grow every year. AfriCell Cholera Credit, only on your AfriCell line.
mbokk ñu seetaan ñu dalal leen fii nii si GRTS ñun waa AfriCell ñoo fi del si di leen indil suñu free Hajj package giveaway bi nga xam ne ñu ngi ko joxe jamono jii nii di tànnañ ñi nga xam ne ñoom lañ bugg a yebal Makka atum leen gii nii ma ànd si kii di Alhaji Papali ak imam al oustaz Abdoulaye Dramé di leen indil li nga xam ne moom lañ leen baaxee bésu ay yi ñu génn gis ngeen fi tànnoon waaye ma bàyyi rek kii di Alhaji Papali ak imam oustaz Dramé ñu nuyoo yéen su ko defee ñu continuer dal di leen wax li nga xam ne maanaam bamtuwaat rek li nga xam ne moom lañ fi defoon bés yu ay bii nii ñu génn.
asalaamaaleykum mbokk yi ñu seetaan ni ko Moussa Cissé waxee waa AfriCell yi ñoo fi dellusiwaat rek réew leen mbir ne ren suñu maanaam tànni ni ñoo tànn pour ñi dem Màkka de dafa am benn soppi boo xam ne moom lañ ci def soppi boobu nag mooy lan mooy di ne bu njëkk bi dañ daan def ay raffle d'or ren nag naruñ koo defee noonu li ñu fas ni def mooy dañoo seet ci gox yi nga xam ne ci Gambie bi lañ nekk maanaam région bu nekk dinañ fa seet ay nit ñoo xam ne ñu ko eeloo lañ ci kaw loolu ñu gestu kenn ku ci nekk bala ñoo decide nag kan lañ ko cee jox ñi njee faral di am ñëpp nag soo ko seetloo kenn ku ci ne eeloo nga ko waaye comme que ticket bi benn la rek kenn rek la ko yàlla mën a wërsëgal su doon suñ coobare kenn ku ci nekk ni la jox ticket nga demee ko waaye comme que loolu mënta ne nag benn rek lañ am benn nit lañ koo jox moo tax ci kaw loolu dinañ ko saytu gestu kenn ku ci nekk say mbir ñu seet ki nga xam ne moo ko gën a eeloo ki gën a néew doole ki nga xam ne circonstances am moo méngoon ak ñun li ñoo ut ñu door koo teg ci loxo kookul